the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
The Honorable Member Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, representing North Town constituency. In fact, or the Jemu din. Now sometimes funny how people like Okujeto Ablakwa a painty picture be to Ghana for Chirimwa is the most clean member of parliament or Kano Kre or Peomaini ye is ready to spill out his blood to ensure that the proper thing is done in this country. Meanwhile, at the background, at Tronkwa, and now, Nipa say Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa Edi. Now, in a tweet, NRA, around 4:30 p.m., Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa Chirimwa, under Section 11 of the Presidential Office Act 1993 Act 463. SSA Mampenyini Bia submit a annual report within 3 months after the end of each financial year. And in this case, the financial year for 2023, the 31st of December 2023. And as mandated by Ghana's constitution, it was said by March this year, His Excellency the President Nana Addo has submitted a annual report. Edekoma Ghana Mrashebija na omo ehwehwemu hunu se ampa 2023 budget ayede bae say yede be yadwuma ne ye share president annual report no bibia edidam kama na sa annual report to be submitted to parliament and according to Okujeto Ablakwa ochiremu wa conduct formal search ewo Ghana Mrashebejom anya time ahwehwe Ghana Mrashebejwa documents nyina nyoma wo nyina edi adanse say the president, His Excellency Nana Addo has not yet complied with the legal obligation as according to the constitution. Anti annual report for the year 2023 has not been submitted. Okujeto Ablakwa signed twice use certain unprintable words for the president, His Excellency Nana Addo. Me quote said you will see asem no X first near friend Twitter. I was say it is totally reprehensible that virtually every year I Okujeto Ablakwa need to remind President Akufo-Addo to comply with the Presidential Office Act 1993 Act 463, which mandates every president under Section 11 to submit an annual report to Parliament within 3 months after the end of each financial year. It is only through the submissions of this report that Parliament would know the current numbers of presidential staffers employed at the presidency, their ranks, and others attached to that office as at close of the previous year. A formal search in Parliament conducted today by myself, the 9th of April 2024, which is NRA, indicates that President Akufo-Addo has still not complied with Act 463 when legally he should have submitted the 2023 annual report by end of March. I call for immediate action demanding the submission of the annual report to Parliament by the President. To weigh any the actual words, Okujeto Ablakwa Equatorian or the X-handle say, Afibia onu Okujeto Ablakwa ne was se okokai. His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo said the Ghana Mamra Constitution na hyehyɛ ewo Act 463 no say afimuni nyina no Ghana mampanyini en submit the final report onu Okujeto Ablakwa na afibia was okokai Nana Addo Akufo-Addo ansa na Ghana mampanyina kai say was submit annual report. Na 2023 die kura no wonu Okujeto Ablakwa akɔhwehwe Ghana Mrashebejwa nkrata nyina mu na Nana Addo Akufo-Addo mfa mai enu nti onu Okujeto Ablakwa ehye Ghana mampanyina Nana Addo Akufo-Addo say onfa sa report no mra parliament na wonim adekode ntia wo ye sa nyina ne se na onam abonten na oye propaganda with respect to the number of presidential staffers ya omo ene na Nana Addo Akufo-Addo ye dwuma unsa sa de wedi Akudzeto ablakwa ye ho propaganda ya every day opese Ghana fo hunu sa Nana Addo Akufo-Addo presidential staffers ne de ombra pim no don ye dwuma enti it was one of his propagandous moves to paint a certain negative picture about the president. Now, as Resema what want to say, Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Saka Klahidu, Abba clarify. Ebra, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo this report to Yaba. Ya, wachiremwa documents ni nyina Ghana mrase bedwam signed by our Clerk of Parliament and the Speaker of Parliament. Into onimbe bi kura. The Honorable Akudzeto ablakwa so okohwehwe ya. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo for Bibia Sama. Now, apart from Mr. Saka Klahidu, the president's lawyer Koesuma, and so the Nana to Sansem said it is high time Omudo Akudzeto ablakwa to ne level because a trono Nsem-Pii kano any SB and some Hunuki kano are dozen dodo into breadru. So I said the good people of Ghana ehunu said ye obi to say Akudzeto ablakwa. The suban etie enti lawyer Koesuma ena wono so ewchiremu say ensemo a lawyer Akudzeto ablakwa kan nyina no kra bi ani ena lawyer Koesuma provide the details of the submission of the annual report owieye no ena wasan highlighted the formal process through which the 2023 annual report from the president was transmitted to the Speaker of Parliament. Ena Obuso Akudzeto ablakwa say, what is totally reprehensible is that you, Akudzeto ablakwa, continue to perpetuate this very same lie every year, and when exposed, you fail to apologize to the president and the Ghanaian people. You see yourself as holier than thou, but deep within, you are the most untruthful politician ever to grace this country. How can you demand an annual report that has already been submitted by the president? It is simply inconceivable. What kind of formal research did you conduct? However, given your tenure in the House, you are expected to be well informed of the procedure by which the President directly communicates with the Speaker of Parliament, submitting the annual report as stipulated by Section 11 of the Presidential Office Act 1993, Act 463 through the Speaker. Now, on 25th March 2024, the President dutifully sent the report to the Speaker of Parliament on the staffing position of the Office of the President for the year ending 31st December 2023. This letter and its attachment were officially received in the Speaker's office on 27th of March 2024 with an acknowledgement of receipt by the Clerk of Parliament, Saka Klahidu, and the personal assistant to the Speaker of Parliament. If a thorough and formal investigation had been conducted, as you claim, this information would undoubtedly have been uncovered. Perpetrating such baseless falsehoods by individuals holding esteemed positions significantly undermines the governance process. I respectfully urge the retraction of your statement and insist on an immediate, unequivocal apology to the President and the Ghanaian populace for propagating this deliberate disinformation. The way also someone lawyer Koesuma, ya lawyer niya or representing Ghana man panyini His Excellency Nana Addo and Ghanaians di betu dwa ya wo chire mu a way back in March and Nana Addo and Ghanaians Edin Krata March 25th or den Krata ni nyina ekodon the Speaker of Parliament through the Clerk of Parliament and the personal assistant to the Speaker. Now, more documents and Krata Speaker acknowledged the receipt of the annual report on the 27th of March 2024. Now, interestingly, yentie someone Mr. Saka Klahidu, ya Clerk of Parliament, and so and some of better tweet yasi. I can confirm authoritatively that the annual report was received from the Office of the President on the 27th of March 2024 with signatures from myself, the personal assistant to the Speaker of Parliament, and the Speaker himself, Mr. Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbe. So, for a parliamentarian like Okujeto Ablakwa to spread news out there that thorough investigation conducted confirmed that such a report has not been received by Parliament is shocking. It becomes a problem when the legislature becomes a tool for propagandous messages. I can confirm again that the annual 2023 report was submitted by His Excellency Nana Addo and Ghanaians on the 23rd of March 2024 and received by Parliament on the 27th of March 2024. Yours faithfully, Saka Klahidu. Into the Clerk of Parliament and so na confirm and someone Nana Addo and Ghanaians lawyer Mr. Ekosuma editu just say 23rd March and na omo enya a fax message of the annual report. Now 27th March and I say omo go through everything appending omo signature say no correct. The annual report has duly been submitted by the President. Enti se obi ate se the honorable Okujeto Ablakwa ya wono so wo Ghana mra se bi betumi aka se wa hwehwe mu ahunu se document bia ni hono mu a e kire se Nana Addo and Ghanaians edit 2023 annual report aba no e yade in fact e ha dwene yi na se oman no kodrum pempenso bi a atitiri ya ekomra hye badwa mu ekohye mra eboama oman no tumpon ede mra hye badwa ene mra hye no ebeye atro ene se enkan semfanton konfo so a in fact na akoye ohaw kakra ya eba beto oman no eso enti no these forms of lies and propaganda should not be tolerated with respect to our legislative arm of the government. Enti lawyer Ekosuma say ohwe ni mu se didi kan Okujeto Ablakwa beba bonten na wabe pachew se wanka ni yi odi atro na fe de to so mienu wasa apaga na fo achew se ade ne da ho no se na ho na afei de to so miensa sa tweet no any statement on na mo ye won san twe ni nyina emphasize the way enso ayen someone lawyer Ekosuma lawyer ni representing the President, His Excellency Nana Addo and Ghanaians say yemfa enkonkoma somewhere Okujeto Ablakwa North Tong Mashebedwani wo. In fact, one of ne atro ene na da asem ananka or shase say or ka ediafa the President of the Republic and to me understand the test of time. Now I want some influence.
I mentioned earlier when you're talking about the conversation on roads, you will find about 11,974.96 kilometers of roads constructed and rehabilitated from 2017 to 2020. That's a 158% increase over the 2009 and 2016 data set. Jobs created between 2017 and June 2023, when this data was put in, a little over 2 million. So 2,087,000. And to tell you the source of the data coming from SNIT. So SNIT is the one that is providing this data. So for every data set that is uploaded, the source will be made available. Government Agenda 111 project, and this is very interesting. Agenda 111 project, when you take the numbers and you add it to the previous health infrastructure that existed, by the time we are done, healthcare infrastructure would have gone up by 55.9%. That is the addition of half of the stock that existed already to Ghana's health infrastructure. And I think we can give ourselves as a country a big round of applause on this one. STEM education, 5 schools completed, 5 under construction. And depending on which dimension you are querying, you can then go in there and then find the details for yourself. Over 5.7 million children benefiting from free SHS and TVET education as at June 2023 when this data was put in. I know that data set has even improved between then and now because June, then there was September intake, etc. But as at that time, 5.7 million children benefiting from free senior high school and TVET education. Rural telephony, a radical program that was rolled out. I see the Minister of Communications is here with us. 1,448 telephony sites that had been established between 2017 and 2023. And let me tell you what's interesting about this. Each of these sites in a community has a certain number of people around it. Let's use a minimum 100. 1,448 multiplied by 100. Who can now have better connectivity for their commerce, for their personal communication, for whether it's healthcare, dealing with relatives to send help or whatever. That is the kind of impact that this 1,448 telephony sites is delivering. So when you see the number, it's not just a number, there's a story behind the number. There are lives that are being impacted behind that number of 1,448 rural telephony sites, multiplied by the number of people who live in those communities and how it is impacting their lives out there. Housing units. You know, now I'm biased towards housing. These days I only talk about housing. 3,286 housing units constructed and added to the housing stock in this country. I want to pay tribute to Minister Atachia, Minister Sensobuache for the great job that they have done. We've still got more that's ahead of us. Recently, I'm sure you've seen a lot of work that is being done. All of that will be updated to include that, because in the Greater Accra region alone, we are currently working on about 10,000 housing units. So this is just 3,000 as at the time the data was put up. And then the update of the data will be going on. 17.2 million persons now covered under the National Health Insurance Scheme. Again, this is data that I picked. So these are my big 8 data points. I encourage you to find your own 8. Because 8 is an interesting number. In conclusion, we want to encourage you to visit the website and download the app. We want to encourage you to take time and navigate and be informed. We are responsible for the information we consume, each one of us. We are responsible for the information we consume. If you choose that you spend, and I say this with the greatest of respect, you spend all your time on a particular social media platform consuming half-truths, false narratives, etc. You are responsible for that information you are consuming. The government of the Republic of Ghana is providing you a database where the facts about projects across the 261 districts are available. The least you can do is to navigate and be informed, so that when you get into that conversation with somebody, you can speak to facts that you yourself have verified on this particular app. And then we also want to encourage you to check for continuous updates, because this is a live platform. It will be updated literally on a daily basis. So please continue to check for those continuous updates. For platforms of this nature all over the world, you may find 1 or 2 little challenges here and there. Shortly, we will open up a feedback window so that you can give us that feedback. And then where corrections need to be made, those corrections can be made. We don't claim perfection, but the leader who is charged us to do this, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, is clear that this should be done. We should use these digital platforms to account to the people and take feedback and make the necessary corrections.
I must say we are very happy with this delivery tracker, because it's also a step in the direction for government to be proactive with disclosing information. Once we have the right to information law in place, with citizens going out looking for information, this is a very important tool in that direction. And so we are very enthused about this. As information officers scattered all over the country, this is a big deal for us. I would like to say a big thank you to all those who worked behind the scenes, all those who put in every little effort. I was part of it, so I know what it took to get this, get us to this level right now. A big thank you to those who were cheering us on for this work to come to fruition. I would like to say a big thank you to all of us present here for taking time off your schedules and joining us to launch this very important tracker. May the good Lord bless us and make our nation Ghana great and strong. Thank you.
Dr. Winifred Nafisa Mahama, Acting Director, Information Services Department, we thank you ever so much. And so it's finally here, the government's performance tracker. It is a tool which would help us appreciate all of government's projects and initiatives, the various outcomes on the platform. The call is simple. We say, navigate and be informed and watch out for updates, because this is still work in progress.